Okay, so today our topic is continuous random variable. Spelling correct? Yes, it is. Yes, it is correct. Continuous. And you are you sure? Okay, so continuous random variable is also known as the name of CRV. Okay, what is come in your mind when you heard about that word continuous random variable? What is the meaning of that thing? Must be any idea. Continuous random variable. No, I'm not asking about last year. We just completed a one topic that is a discrete and a random variable. Discrete and continuous variable. Do you remember that thing? Yeah, one with limits and one without limits. So we are discussing about the continuous random variable. It means we are going to discuss about the continuous variables, a continuous distribution in which we are going to pick out any random variable. Okay, so it is just directly from the continuous distribution from directly referring you to the continuous distribution. Okay, and let's talk about the definition for that thing. So there will be some assumptions for just remembering that thing. The first thing is exactly we are going to pick out the random variable, and the second thing is exactly can take all value in a given interval. So this time it can take all values. All values means like it can be one. If I'm just giving you the statement like this, like for example, my interval is 1 till 7, so I can pick out any of the particular value for it. Must be the discrete or the decimal value, like this. Also possible over here because we are dealing with the continuous variable, like it can be 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 2.5, 2.7. I can pick any of the value, and I cannot pick the 1 and 7 right over here. And the third important thing, that interval can be closed or open. So do you know about anything, the close and the open intervals difference? Is any wind sound is coming from my mic? Little bit. Whenever I'm saying something. Now it's fine then. Okay. So when I'm talking about a closed interval, so the closed interval is exactly like, for example, 2 to 8. It's a closed interval. Why do we call it a closed interval? Because it's just related to that portion, 2 to 8. So all the values will be lying between 2 to 8, not from more than that. And let's suppose if I'm talking about an open interval, so open interval will be x less than 9. What does it mean? I can take any value from behind the 9. Okay, that's fine. some of the things which can be in the given intervals, or what type of things that we are going to deal with. Sometimes we are dealing with the time in this interval, and sometimes we are dealing with the height and length of any particular objects and the probabilities as well. Okay. Now furthermore, what is the next thing in this chapter? That is exactly probability density function. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is probability density function. So in which, when we are having a probability density function, let's suppose that we are having a graph like this, and on this graph I'm making function for the understanding, and over here I can say this one is f of x and this one is x, and my f of x is equal to 1 upon 8x. And over here I am just putting 4. In that case I can say that it will be 1 by 2. Okay. And if we are talking about that function, that how we can define that probability density function, so it will always be defined by this way now. And in this probability or cumulative function and the probability density function, in which your skills of integration and differentiation are going to be tested. Okay. So over here I can say that, like from 0 to 4 in the interval, I am having the function like x over 8 from 0 to 4. And otherwise, you can see the probability for that function is exactly 0. Okay. And the most important thing that you have to remember, that area under the graph of PDF is equal to probability, and which always be equal to 1. Okay. But most of the times it's not true. Sometimes it happens that we are dealing with some of the different variables, so we can proceed with the different assumptions and the calculations. But the remembering thing in the probability density function is this, like area under the graph, or the total area under the graph, or we can say that the total area will always be equal to 1. Okay. You know that. You can also check this one by this way, like if you just calculate the area of this triangle, it's going to be 1 upon 2 multiplied by the base, and the height is exactly 1 by 2. So you can see that it is exactly 1 over here. So whatever the function is, you can just check out the area, but it will always be equal to 1. And over here, one more thing that you have to remember, Like the PDF function cannot be in negative. E, e sorry, yeah, area can't be negative, and this I'm just talking about this function. Like it cannot go beyond that value of x. Like whatever the function is look like, it cannot go like this. Are you writing it? Over here, I am having another function like this. Now this time I'm not going to have the straight lines. I am just having the curve. I am again just telling you from the graph. Like now this time I'm not drawing the lines. I'm just drawing a function right over here. So in this case, I am just having 5 by 3. That is my fx. That is my x. And in this case, I am having f of x is equal to k sin x on 5 by, or otherwise 0. Do you? Yeah. Yes. Equal to 1. If it is asked you, calculate that one. So at that time you will just integrate that, but not right now. See this? Tell me that, do you have an idea about this? Must have seen this, unfortunately. Fine. Do you know about this curve, the normal curve? And at that time we always say that this total area will be equal to 1. You know why? Probability. And one more thing, that in this line, this area is exactly 0.5 and half of this area will be equal to 0.5. if you are interested to know about the value of k from that one, what will you do? You know about that one, no? Yeah. So the function is already integrated now. 2 pi by 3, that will always be equal to. What is cos 2 pi by 3? Radians. You haven't converted your calculator. Huh? And that is exactly cos 0 is 1 now. Yeah, question. Usually they just asking about the variables, like which is missing variables. Question that. Should I also write the theorems for that thing? Actually, we call it a theorem, like a x and b when we are integrating that function b to a f of x will equal to 1 over here, the limits of this one. This is the theorem, and this is called upper limit. This is called a lower limit. Do I exactly need to mention that thing? Now, what are the formulae for mean? Mean will always be the expected value of ex. So it can be figured out. You always remember that it can is used to be figured out by sigma x dot p of x. Do you remember that thing? In S1 you have must have studied that thing, no? No, no. Sorry? Yeah, MF90. And in A2, if you are interested to calculate expected X, what you will do? Yeah, it's a mean. No, 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 no. In this S2, if you are interested to calculate the expected X, na, so you will integrate that one by this way, like X dot f of X. Okay. Yeah, the range, yeah, B2, B2A or something like that. Or you can write all of X. It is in S2. And for about the variance, if I am talking about variance, so the variance was calculated P of X, and in S1 you must have calculated this thing by this way, na? Sigma expected X square minus bracket expected X whole square. So you exactly know that in S2 how we calculate expected X. So this is the same thing. Yeah, for the X square, for the expected X square, the formula will remain same for S2 as well, na? But the expected X square, what we did in AS level, that was expected X square into P of X. That was in S1. Okay. Now when we are talking about this one, na, like for S2, it is like expected X square integral with X square dot f of X dot dx for all of X. Okay. I'm just recalling you from the base. Is it fine? And the third thing is exactly standard deviation. That was very simple, no? In the standard deviation, what you will do? SD is equals to square root of Vx, or VAR. And there are some more assumptions for that one, like transforming the variables as well. Do you remember that thing? Like y is equals to a plus bx or something like that. AXB, yeah, ax plus b. You can know that. So now I think that we should move towards the question and check how the questions are asking about. There's one more thing that I have to tell you about it now, because we have done with the mean, variance, standard deviation. The one more thing that is exactly median. Okay, telling you. You remember that graph which I made it over here? I'm making the same graph like that. Yeah, it is a middle value. So if we are having that function, any function like this, So median will be definitely lying inside this portion in the center, isn't it? So no, 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 not equal one, equals to half. That was m over here, and the function is remains same, that is f of x. That was your b, that was your a. And remember one thing, when you are dealing with the median, na, so area of this portion will be 0.5 and area of this portion will also be 0.5. So when you are interested to know about the median, so what you will do, you will just integrate that function from m to a. It will always be f of x dot dx, which is equal to 0.5. And you can also proceed with that way, like you can integrate the function from b to m. It depends on the situation, Maha, which type of variables are provided in the question. Like it sometimes it happens, no, they are providing you the final limits. Yeah, so it always be the consideration that how we are dealing with the function. But that is a very important thing that you know exactly, which is the median will break the area into two portions, two equal portions, half of that one. And how can we proceed with the lower quartiles as well? Lower quartile and upper quartile and an IQR for that. Lower quartile will be equal to 0.25, and how you deal with the upper quartile? If you are going with backside, na. Hmm. So when we are dealing with the quartiles, like lower quartile can be integral of, for example, q to a f of x dot dx will be equal to 0.25 in that case. And if it is lower quartile, like it's a q1 over here, na? And that can also be equal to b q1, which is exactly at that time it will be equal to 0.75, isn't it? Okay. And when you are dealing with the upper quartile, so the upper quartile can also be proceed with that way, like q3 to a f of x dot dx in that case will be equal to 0.75, and b to quartile 3 f of x dot dx can be equal to 0.25. Is that clear? Is the same thing. And what about the percentiles? Yeah, like you can analyze, yeah, decile and percentile, all the things can be break into that same way. You did not see about the quartiles as well. Sometimes you can ask. I have seen the questions of the medians and the quartiles as well. And in the sixth thing, we can always figure out the probability of given range. Okay, so for example, I was just having that function, the same function. I'm just copying it down. Like I am interested to know about the probability for this area. So by calculating the simple way, like whatever it is, for example, it's y, no, for example, it's alpha and it's beta. So I can integrate it from alpha to beta with f of x dot dx. Okay, you can also proceed with that values. And what about that one? Should we proceed with the questions from that same rocket revise? No, I think that we should go for the rocket revise. That is only the there were one of another website now that was fine going. Yeah, password. You told me about that. So it doesn't have the work solutions. So what I can see over here, there is a question, and in this question they are asking about the diagram shows the graph of the probability density function. So it's a probability density function over here. It's going over this way, and this function is exactly defined by this equation, and this is otherwise zero. State the value of the expected x and find the variance as well. The 4 mark question. So expected x we have to figure it out by this way, no? So what I will do, I will integrate that function for part A. What is the formula for the expected x? Like I will integrate it from the maximum to the minimum limit 3 to 0 and x dot f of x dot dx. Okay, are you there? 3 to 0, and I can send this one 3x square minus x cube dot dx. So 2 over 9, 3 x cube divided by 3 minus x to the power 4 divided by 4, and it will be 3 to 0. 3 and 3 will cancel. Just over 9, 3 to the power 3 minus 3 to the power 4 upon 4 minus 0 to the power, sorry, yeah, I am writing for just making the examiner comfortable that I know the method. 3 cube is going to be what? Sorry, 3 cube is what? Final answer. Just a second. That was, yeah, it's one. Yes. There is a one more thing in part A, variance. So for the variance, I need to go for the expected x square, which will be from 3 to 0, and x square dot f of x dot dx. So x square into over 9, 3x minus x square dot dx. Yeah, it's better to just put it down. 3x to the power 4 minus x, 3x to the power 3, sorry, and it is 4 dot dx. Now I can proceed with it by integration 3x4 over 4 minus x over 5 over 5 with the limits of 3 to 0. It will be 2 over 9, 3 into 3 to the power 4 over 4 minus 3 to the power 5 over 5 minus is going to be 0. Oh, that is totally complicated. 3 to the power 5, 243. Sorry, beta. Yeah, you can give me the final answer. 2.7. State the value of p 1.5 less than x less than 4. So if we are interested to know about the probability, so we can integrate that one, but there is a problem. If we see that function, so only this area can be figured out, and this is exactly 0, 3 to 4, isn't it? Which part? Part C? I haven't here. Part C. 1, 2, 2. Find the probability of x greater than 2. So I think x greater than 2, it shouldn't be subtracted from 1. But there is a problem. What is 1 minus 13 upon 27? What you know? And for this part, part B, if I'm just talking about, just a second, let me complete that one. Isn't it 0.5? Because 1.5 is exactly the median. Na? मम्मा को कॉल करना है इधर खड़े होके बात कीजिएगा मुझे मोबाइल वापस कीजिएगा she don't take me ticket 1.0.5 okay what about this one what we're discussing about that thing Hmm, hmm, hmm. Greater than 2 oh, what we are doing the total of this probability will always be equal to 1 so if this portion is exactly given to you this one that is exactly 13 by 27 so whatever the probability be this is quite simple now what we yeah exactly probability of x greater than 2 it must be 1 minus 13 over 27 and the probability will be dividing by 2 because there are two portions for that thing that is 7 by 27 that we are having yes can we stop here in the next class we will proceed with that question now okay thank you beta take care Hafiz.